Hey guys, it's been quite a long time since I've been on Periscope. This is actually my second broadcast, so bear with me as I'm relatively new to the whole live streaming, live broadcasting field as we're going into in today's technology. Is kind of amazing to me because I can sit here and talk to nobody and everybody at the same time. But yeah, my name is Courtney Renee Williams. I'm a millennial lifestyle blogger. I'm an MBA student. I also work full time as I transition into entrepreneurship, and I've overcome a lot of different things. I've overcome multiple mental health issues, and my passion is to help others do the same, others to find their purpose, their identity, and to help move them out of whatever mental disorder that they may be dealing with at the time. So I do have a blog, a written blog, I should say. It's at my website, CourtneyReneeWilliams.com. That's Renee with two E's. Make sure you check that out, and if you're interested in what I have to say further, make sure you share and invite your followers. You never know who may be dealing with depression or anxiety or bipolar disorder and may need some resources that I may be able to provide. So, like I was saying a little bit earlier, I have dealt with a few mental health disorders. I've actually been diagnosed with major depression disorder. I've been diagnosed with general anxiety disorder, and most recently, about 4 years ago, coming up on the 17th, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And so just having dealt with those three things for probably about the last maybe 12 years or so. My first diagnosis was in 2006, so that would make it 11 years. Just having dealt with those things and the ups and downs that comes with dealing with those things, I have a lot of knowledge that I can share just from personal experience. So today I want to talk about three things that you can say to someone that may help them deal with whatever it is that they're going through. On my written blog, I actually shared what depression looks like and how to tell. Sorry, I think that's my television. Let me turn it off. What depression looks like, and some factors that you can kind of look at to see if there's someone around you that is depressed, and just from my experience what that looked like with me. I also wrote a second blog in a series about what not to say to someone, because sometimes we try to be helpful and it's not helpful at all. It actually can make things worse for that person. So I wrote about some things that you shouldn't say to someone based on my experience. So today I want to give three things that you should say or that you can say to someone who's dealing with depression that may kind of help them and may make them feel a little bit better. Okay, so the first thing that helped me that someone could say is, how can I help you? Now, that may be a loaded question. Someone may not always know what could help them. They may not even necessarily know what's wrong. But saying, how can I help you? It lets that person know that you're open, that your door is open, that you're available. Even ways that you can help somebody is just by listening. Everybody doesn't want advice all the time. That goes back to things that you shouldn't say to someone. Everyone doesn't want advice. Everyone doesn't want to hear, everything will be okay. That it's not helpful. So saying, how can I help you? Is there anything I can do? You'd be very surprised. That person may say, hey, yeah, I just need to vent. Life has really been coming at me sideways every which way possible, and I just need someone to talk to. Or, you know what? I'm having these issues with school. I really kind of feel like a failure. I'm failing this class, and, I got work going on. This is actually my own story. I'm working full time, and my anxiety is getting out of control, and everything that's going on right now is coming at me at once. And you never know, that person may be able to help you with your schoolwork. That person may be able to give you some professional development tools that could help you in work. Just offer your help to someone, even if that's just a shoulder to cry on or someone to talk to. Just offer your help. That's definitely something that you should say to someone, is offering your help. The second one, it may seem a little cliche, but saying, "I'm here if you need me," that kind of ties in with the first one. I know a lot of people say that they're there, and if you give someone a genuine "I'm here if you need me," and they realize that you really mean what you're saying, that could mean the world to them, because some people actually feel like they don't have anybody to lean on, that they don't have anybody that understands, that no one understands them. That's part of the depression cycle, is hopelessness and just feeling like things are never going to get any better. So if you are that person that can, remind them that they do have someone in their corner, that definitely, could be helpful to someone who possibly feels like no one is there. Just, "I'm here if you need me. You can reach out to me. I'll reach out to you. As a matter of fact, I'll check in on you." Just knowing that you have the security of someone being there can be very helpful and can be like a weight lifted off of their shoulders. Just knowing that someone is there. So that's helpful. And then my last thing that I feel you should say to someone who is depressed or dealing with anxiety or something of the sort is nothing. Sometimes the best thing to say to someone, especially if you don't know what to say, is nothing. Just be there. Just be there. I know there were times where I was depressed and just upset, and I would call my best friends or even my mother, and I would just having someone sit with me, just having someone on the phone, hearing them breathing, knowing that they're there. They didn't necessarily have to say anything, but just the fact that they were there and I felt like I had somebody in my corner, it actually helped a bit. Not saying don't say anything if you feel that someone is in danger. If you feel that someone is going to hurt themselves or maybe even hurt somebody else, this tip is not for that situation. You need to say something, and most likely you need to call the suicide hotline or maybe even the police. But in this case, if you feel that this person is just maybe going through a tough time and not suicidal or not homicidal or, going to harm somebody else, saying nothing can really help. Just be there. Just be there. Maybe hold their hand. Maybe rub their back. Bring them some food. I know it's probably not the best thing to do, but I'm an emotional eater, so food always kind of helped when I was depressed, and bringing someone something to eat just shows that you care. You don't necessarily have to say, "Hey, I know you're depressed and, everything." You don't have to do all that. Just, "Hey, here's something that I felt may make you feel better. Here's a little token of my appreciation," little gifts, things like that. It may lift their spirits. It may not. I know I think it was the year 2009 when I got my first car. I was completely depressed and down in the dumps, and my parents bought me a whole car. And while, they didn't buy me a car because I was depressed, but they did buy me a car. And although, I was happy for only a moment, it was a bright spot in my week. It wasn't that I didn't appreciate it, but I was depressed. There was nothing that, it wasn't a long-term solution, but just having something new, something shiny, something that I needed, it was a bright spot in a week that was pretty gloomy for me. So, saying nothing sometimes is the best thing to do. Just be there. just be present. Sometimes people don't even want to hear that they're depressed. You don't have to mention it. You just be there, be available, and reach out and maybe take them shopping or take them to a movie. Just different things like that. So just to recap, the 3 things that I think are helpful, 3 things that I think you should say to someone who is depressed is, how can I help? Let them know that you are an option. I'm here if you need me. That can provide some security, and let that person know that they have someone in their corner. And the 3rd is saying nothing. Sometimes saying nothing is the best course of action. Sometimes actions speak louder than words. Just be there. So those are my 3 things. This was going to be a really short Periscope because I only had 3 things for you. But these are, depression and mental illness is one of my passions. I've been through a lot in life. I feel like I've overcome quite a bit. And this is part of what I want to do. This is part of what I'm called to do. Part of my purpose in life is to help people with these types of problems, especially in today's day where so many people are committing suicide. It's just kind of scary to think that people are suffering, and a lot of times they're suffering silently and they don't feel like they have any resources. They don't feel like they have anyone who understands what they're going through. And so that's kind of what I want to be. I want to be a light in a dark place, especially with my generation being the millennial generation. We have, not to say that we have more problems than past generations, but we have very different problems, and I just kind of want to be that voice to people who have gone through similar things that I have gone through. But on my blog, I do talk about how I am an aspiring entrepreneur. That's something that I mentioned earlier, and I said that I was going to chronicle things that I go through as an aspiring entrepreneur, and as I get into entrepreneurship, just kind of the steps that I'm taking. I will go into detail about what type of company that I've started, but I will just say that I did take the first steps in business, which is to file for an LLC. Not everyone files for an LLC. Some people file as a corporation. There's different business entities out there, but I did file as an LLC. And that was a pretty big step for me because that just kind of solidified that, hey, I'm going to do this. I put my money where my mouth is, because filing for an LLC in Illinois, kind of pricey, but hey, it's a tax deduction at the end of the day. So it was a big step for me. I went ahead and filed the LLC, and I'm just really outlining the steps that I want to take to leading up to going full time into business, and things that I need to do, such as, getting marketing together, branding, website. I have a blog website right now that I did myself. So if it looks a little tacky right now, give me a pass, because I am not a graphic designer. I'm not a web designer, but it's what I had at the time, and I'm proud of it because I did it myself. So, just getting a blog together, getting a following going, and just really trying to establish myself as a credible voice in the mental health community. So those are the steps that I'm taking right now. I'll definitely talk more about it as I go along. But that's all. That's it. That's it. That's all that I have right now. I appreciate you all joining me today, and I welcome you to hit those 3 dots at the bottom if you have an iPhone and share. If you have an Android, I'm not sure how you share, 'cause I've never had one. But I also welcome you to follow me if you would like to see more information about the mental health community. I also talk about just different situations that millennials find themselves in, situations that I found myself in. If you want to check out my last Periscope, it's actually related to domestic violence and having a roommate and what you can do about that. So check out my last broadcast. I probably actually will post it on Facebook as well. So if you like what you see, follow me. I follow back, and good night.